Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're in the bathroom here at my house, and I'm going to show you guys how to fix a problem with the shower handle here. This is a Moen Posi Temp faucet, single handle, hot and cold. Not unlike most faucets you'll see in tubs and showers in most residential homes. The problem is it turns on fine, but it's hard to turn it off. The handle is becoming increasingly difficult to turn off, which is a problem inside the assembly here. So I'm going to show you how to take it apart and how you can easily repair it before it breaks, which is what happened in my other bathroom about a year ago. The same thing happened where it was getting harder and harder to turn it off until one day it snapped inside and wouldn't shut off. And that was an interesting problem to troubleshoot at 11:30 at night. So this one's starting to do it. We're going to fix this one before it becomes an issue. Let me zoom out here so you can kind of see. See here, easy to turn it on, almost, very, very normal effort to turn it on. But when I go to turn it off, it takes a lot of effort to turn this. It's really stiff. And the cartridge that's inside here needs to be lubricated. So we're going to go outside, turn the water off to the house, and take this apart and show you how to repair it. So stay tuned. It's through. Take this off. Yeah, just screw this. Yeah, pliers like those, like. Okay, so it takes the handle off. And different styles of faucets may be different. Okay, next thing we do is pull this piece off. Let's cast the water. Okay, so I'm trying to get makeshift gear puller stuff to get this thing out. So I got this little gear puller here. Got a few nuts bolts in it. I don't have the proper stuff to do this. I'm just surprising these bolts. I've done this before, so we'll see. Plan is not to do anything here, but try. And my bolts. It's going to reach. All right, back to the rubber. Okay, so I go back out with some motor bolts. I don't have proper jaws for the gear puller, but I have one bolt. The head of the bolt with a big flat washer behind. The back of the hand here. And there's a dice hold in place. I got the center gear puller against the center here. And I hope. What's he doing that way? Doing knife? Is it dice? Okay, so I'm going to tighten up the center valve here on the gear puller. Hopefully that pushes against the inside cartridge here via the nut. That's screwed back in. Hopefully this is the inside. I'm getting really careful. Try to pull this. You can't see before you see. I'm using the plate here behind it. And yes, really interesting. We're going to see if it works. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, then we'll move on like plan F. So again, the point is, not just probably what I'm doing here, but just think outside the box. Keep moving forward. It doesn't work out. Got a little bit of a problem. It's about 9 o'clock at night. Kids still haven't taken a shower. Me and my wife still haven't been able to take showers. Thought this was going to be a nice, simple, little, easy DIY project, just to pull this cartridge, put some silicone grease on it, put it back in. Now it's a full-blown deal. So I run a Lowe's, got a new cartridge because now this thing is messed up inside. It finally let loose. And that's the thing with these cartridges. Over time, they start getting stiff. Little rubber pieces on the cartridge start to dry up, and they make it hard to turn. And then it gets to the point where you tear the rubber part, and then it no longer holds the water back like it's supposed to. So I was hoping to pull that out, put some new silicone grease on the cartridge, and let it go another 10 years, but alas, that was not the case. And those cartridges are not cheap. They're about 47 bucks at Lowe's, which at this point would be a super bargain if I could even just get this handle off to get the cartridge out. So as the project goes, I've got more tools, bag of parts from Lowe's. I was lucky and found a box of extra parts in here, so I may not need all the stuff I bought at Lowe's. I know for sure I'll definitely need the cartridge, but I have a whole nother trim kit here for the tub handle, so that's good news. So I may not need all the stuff that I just got at Lowe's. I may be able to patch this thing together with that, but I will definitely need a new cartridge. So now the project is going to be trying to get this guy off of here to get access behind here. There's a little retainer clip. I don't know that this is going to be successful or not because this little chrome piece in here blocks it. I don't think all this is meant to slide off once this guy's out of the way, and that's kind of blocking everything right now from making forward progress. So plan, I don't know, we're on F, G, H, I don't know, it might be on M or NOP right now. Anyways, if this doesn't work, I'm going to cut through this with my Sawzall, get this all out of the way, and because I'm replacing the cartridge anyways, that'll be last resort. So stay tuned, we'll see what happens. Okay, so I got the cover off, and just like I was thinking, this piece right here is blocking access to that retainer pin. That retainer pin or spring clip, whatever you want to call it, should be right up here. It just pops out. It's kind of tight access here. I don't remember when we tiled this bathroom cutting the tile this close to the shower valve. Well, now I'm wishing I hadn't. But nonetheless, I think the hacksaw's got to come out. And I got to cut this thing off right through here. so I can take this piece out and then get access to the retainer clip to be able to pull the cartridge. You can see back in there that brass part, that's the shower valve, that's what's attached to the wall. You gotta be careful when you're trying to get these handles off. You can't go crazy pulling on them, because what'll happen is you'll rip this valve right out of the wall, and then you got a real mess on your hands. That can be really difficult to repair without a whole lot of collateral damage, either in your tile wall or in the whatever's behind this. In my case, it's a closet with a whole bunch of junk in it and super tight access and drywall, so I'm not wanting to mess with that. So time to bust out the hacksaw, or not the hacksaw, might be a better choice, but I got the Sawzall in here. I may go to town on that. Anyways, we'll be back in a minute. Hopefully we got this handle off and we're a little further along on this project. Stay tuned. Okay, well, I ended up going with the Sawzall. Made short work, cut right through it. Got the handle off. You can see that brass stem seized in there pretty good. Pretty good. So let's put that out of the way. Take this piece off. Okay. Didn't have much room to spare there before I got into the valve. I forgot how far they stick out for the tile. All right, but this is our valve. So you can see a little retainer clip here. We just pop this guy out, and then this whole cartridge will come right off. So let me set the camera up and see if I can get this in live action mode. Okay. So we get our pliers. Pull this clip up. Don't lose it. We'll set that aside. And oh man, I bring the channel locks back with me. Let's see if this will pull it out. Stand by. I'm going to have to go get some bigger pliers. And we're back. Okay, we got the channel locks here. Got a good purchase on this. And there we go. That's the cartridge. See these little rubber pieces here and here? They dry up and they stop sealing in there. So these are meant to be, I don't want to say disposable, but serviceable. All right, the valve, the part that stays in the wall, that's the part you don't want to have to replace on a, really on any basis. You don't ever have to replace that at all. This piece is meant to come out. When they wear out, throw them away, put a new one in. Like I said, it's about 47 bucks at Lowe's. Like I said, I was hoping to get this guy out to service it, pop it back in, and like I said, get some more mileage out of it. But in this case, this guy's going in the garbage. I'm just thankful that I got this thing out tonight. I can get the new cartridge in, turn my water back on, keep my fingers crossed that this actually works out and nothing else goes wrong. So, all right, stay tuned. Okay, this is the new shower cartridge. It's a Moen 1222, pretty common. Like I said, you can find them at most big box home stores, online. And this is what we're going to put in to replace it. We'll just open this guy up. Okay. And if I remember correctly, when I took the original one out, if you look on the cartridge here, focus. Anyways, not gonna work here. Up here at the top, molded into the plastic, it says HC. I believe that side goes up. Before we do that though, need some of this stuff, silicone grease, and we're gonna put it on the rubber parts here and push it back in. Okay, so we got the silicone grease on all the rubber parts here, on the O-ring and on these rubber flaps. I'm just going to push it in again with the HC facing up. We're going to push it all the way in. Okay, and we can put our retainer clip back in. If you forget this step, you will have an unexpected plumbing emergency at some point, as the water pressure at some point will push this thing back out. So it's important not to lose this and not to forget to put it back in. So we're just going to insert it in the slot up here at the top, like so. Why would it go in easy? Nothing else about this project has been easy. There it goes. So that guy goes back in there. I'm going to take these old screws out of here. So now, really the last step is to put the trim cover back on. And luckily, you know, on my way back from Lowe's, I bought a whole new set, which they're not cheap, but I bought a new set at Lowe's. I bought a couple different styles just in case. I bought a replacement handle only, and then I bought the whole kit. So I was worried I was going to have to cut through this guy, and I did, so can't reuse that anymore. And then I remembered on my way back that I had that box of extra parts, and lo and behold, I believe it has everything I need in it to put this back together. So when I get these screws out, I'm going to clean up this old caulking off the tile, and then I'll be back on reinstalling the trim kit, so stay tuned. Okay, so we got the old caulk cleaned off around the tile there where the trim cover is going to go. We got our new pieces here. We got a handle. We got this little, I don't know what the name of it's called, a little extender here, and some parts here. So again, we've got the new cartridge back inside the valve. This part's called the valve. That's the part that's mounted to the wall on the inside that ideally stays there for life. It doesn't have to come out and be replaced. And then in this part here, this is the old one that we took out. This is the cartridge. You can see how long the stem is on this one and how I had to cut through this one to get the handle off. Because this handle, the copper stem, must have corroded and seized inside the, it's probably some kind of pot metal alloy casting here for this handle. It's kind of heavy. So anyways, we replaced the cartridge. Again, I was not intending to do that. I was intending just to get this guy out and lubricate it, put it back in, but that didn't work. So now we're at the point, we got this in, it's lubricated, retaining clip is in. I turned the water back on, made sure this was in the off position, and turned the water back on, did a leak test here. The water is actually on right now, okay? And just make sure no leaks here. This thing didn't pop out, everything's good. So now we're ready to go ahead and put the cover on, and hopefully not see this thing again for another 10 years or so. So this little extender piece goes in, and it's got this little plastic insert that goes in there with some indexing marks. That goes in there with this little bump up, and that's just going to slide in there as far as you can push it. Okay, these indexing marks are going to be for a temperature adjustment ring, which is this part. All right, it goes in here like this. Okay, with these bumps matching top and top here, that'll give you the maximum amount of temperature. If you want to limit the amount of temperature that this valve gets, you can rotate this guy clockwise a couple of notches at a time. That will limit how far the faucet opens and how far to the hot side that you can turn the faucet by turning this. If you got small kids, or if you have a water heater that acts up and produces really hot water, maybe something you want to think about, you know, playing around with this and getting the temperature set at a safe temperature. Our water heater, your typical electric storage type water heater, it's set at 125 degrees. And we like hot showers. So I'm going to set this guy all the way up. That'll give the maximum amount of temperature out of this faucet. So this handle is a little bit different style than the one I took off of it, and I'm happy about that, because if you notice, this one doesn't have anywhere for that brass ring to go in, and hopefully that'll save me some headaches in the future. We got this little black plastic adapter piece that goes in. Okay, so that goes in like this. That goes in like that, and then the handle goes right over top of it. Okay, and it's all the way off in the down position. Make sure that guy gets seated in there. Now I gotta find the new screw that came with it, so hold on just a second. Okay, so some of you guys probably been shouting at your computer screen, he's forgetting a major step, and you're right. It's a test, you all passed. We're forgetting the chrome trim cover. So we're gonna take all this back off again, no big deal, because nothing's screwed down yet. And I'm gonna take, it's hard to do with holding the camera in one hand, take this piece off, and we're gonna put this over like so. That just goes on there. And then 2 screws to tighten down. So let's see if I can set this here, if it'll balance. Okay. And we've got our 2 new screws. They go in like this. We'll try that way. All right, we'll take it in. Okay, well, about 4 hours later, 3.5 hours later, trip to Lowe's, several frustrating moments. We finally got this thing back together. Got the little cap back in here. Everything is back on. Last thing to do is turn it on, make sure that the valve wasn't inserted backwards. Again, if you put that valve in with the lettering facing down, it'll reverse the hot and the cold. That may be necessary though if your valve was plumbed the wrong way. If they put the hot on the cold side and the cold on the hot side, they may have inserted that cartridge backwards. I build new homes, so I see that happen sometimes. It's an easy way to fix a plumber's mistake, is to insert that cartridge backwards so you don't have to repipe it. But in my case, that wasn't the case. And so the last thing to do is to turn the water on, verify that the hot is hot and cold is cold. So go ahead and open this up all the way. And we're getting hot water. Turn it back off. And it's off. Holding water back. Everything works. The handle turns very easily now, the way it's supposed to do. So I can call this project complete. Finally, I thought this was going to be a simple 5-minute easy home maintenance video, and it quickly turned into a multiple hour home repair video, which when you got a family of 5, not having running water on a Monday night is not a good thing. And I'm glad this didn't spiral out of control. So again, the point of the video here is not necessarily to copy everything I did exactly, but you know, to at least try to attempt to repair. And if you get stuck somewhere, if you've got the wherewithal and the knowledge, you know, try an alternative, try something else. Don't let a little problem slow you down. Of course, you know, I say this with a disclaimer: I am not a licensed plumber. I'm not even really that great at plumbing. I just happen to know how these things come apart and go together, and I know enough about, you know, what I'm comfortable doing. So, you know, in my case, it worked out. Your mileage may vary, so take everything I say with a grain of salt here. But again, you know, the key is here, you know, don't let a little problem scare you. You know, it's okay to try something yourself if you have a comfort level with it. If not, by all means, call a plumber, call a professional, whatever it is. No shame in that. But you know, sometimes we start trying to fix something, we get a little obstacle, and then we quit. And this is true of, you know, everything in life. And sometimes you gotta call a timeout, look at the problem from a different perspective, and take a new course of action. And that's what happened here tonight. And I got, you know, I'd say I was a little good at this, and I was really lucky, and probably had the big guy upstairs looking over my shoulder, helping me doing what I'm doing here. So thank you, Lord, for that. And that's a wrap on this video. If you liked what you saw here, if you got a tidbit or a nugget out of this video, even if you just found anything that was here funny, please feel free to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends.